In the dim glow of a single street lamp, a young woman named Alara huddled against the biting wind, her fingers numb from the cold as she clutched a worn piano lesson flyer she'd printed at the library. Little did she know, this simple act of desperation would unravel a secret that had been hidden in the shadows of a towering mansion where a powerful man watched her every move, his heart thawing in ways he never imagined. But that's the end of our tale. Let's rewind to the beginning, where hope flickers like a candle in the storm. If this hook has you leaning in, smash that like button and subscribe for more heart-wrenching stories that remind us love can bloom in the unlikeliest places. Now, settle in, because this is a journey of loss, redemption, and the music that binds broken souls. Alara Thompson had always believed that music was her escape, a portal to a world where her troubles dissolved into melodies. At 25, she lived in a cramped apartment on the outskirts of the city, where the walls were thin enough to hear her neighbors' arguments, and the rent was always a paycheck away from eviction. Her parents had passed away when she was just a teenager, her father in a factory accident, her mother from an illness that drained their savings long before it claimed her life. Alara had dropped out of college to work odd jobs, waitressing, cleaning offices, anything to keep the lights on. But her true passion was the piano. She'd learned from her mother, who had been a music teacher before the sickness took hold. Now, Alara scraped by giving lessons to neighborhood kids, charging what little she could without feeling guilty. One rainy afternoon, as she scrolled through online classifieds on a borrowed laptop, an ad caught her eye. Piano tutor needed for 10-year-old boy. Private residence. Generous pay. Experience with special needs preferred. The address was in the upscale Hillside district, a place Alara had only driven through once, marveling at the gated estates that seemed worlds away from her reality. She hesitated. Special needs? She wasn't formally trained for that, but the generous pay whispered promises of paid bills and maybe even a new coat for winter. With a deep breath, she emailed her resume, attaching a video of herself playing Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major. To her shock, a response came within hours, an interview the next day. The mansion loomed like a fortress as Alara approached, her old bicycle chained to a lamppost outside the gates. She smoothed her faded dress, feeling out of place among the manicured lawns and luxury cars. The butler, a stern man named Mr. Hargrove, led her inside to a grand foyer with marble floors that echoed her footsteps. Waiting there was Alexander Voss, the CEO of Voss Technologies, a conglomerate that dominated the tech world. Tall, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, with sharp features and eyes like polished steel, he exuded an aura of unapproachable authority. Rumors swirled about him in the tabloids, a widower who had lost his wife in a tragic car accident 5 years ago, leaving him to raise their son alone. Since then, he'd become known as the Ice King, cold, ruthless in business, and fiercely private. "Miss Thompson," Alexander said, his voice clipped and formal, not bothering with a handshake. "My son Liam is blind. Born that way, he's intelligent, but music calms him. Previous tutors quit after a few sessions. He can be challenging. If you can't handle it, don't waste my time." Alara swallowed hard, meeting his gaze. "I understand challenges, Mr. Voss. Music helped me through my own losses. I'd like to try." Alexander studied her for a moment, his expression unreadable. "Very well, start tomorrow. Hargrove will show you out." As she left, Alara couldn't shake the chill from his demeanor. Little did she know Alexander had already researched her background, her struggles. He hired her not just for Liam, but because something in her video stirred a long-buried memory of his late wife, who had loved the piano. From his office upstairs, equipped with hidden cameras in every room, a security measure born from paranoia after the accident, he planned to watch. Not out of suspicion, but curiosity. Or so he told himself. The next day, Alara arrived early, her heart pounding. The music room was a haven, a grand Steinway piano, walls lined with sheet music and large windows overlooking a garden. Liam sat on the bench, a slight boy with tousled brown hair and sightless eyes that seemed to stare into infinity. He fidgeted with a braille book, his small hands tracing the dots impatiently. "Hello, Liam. I'm Alara. Your dad said you like music?" Liam's head tilted. "The last teacher said I was too slow. Are you going to quit too?" Alara smiled, though he couldn't see it. "Not a chance." "Let's start with something fun. Do you know Heart and Soul?" She guided his hands to the keys, her touch gentle. Liam hesitated, then pressed a note. It was off-key, but Alara praised him anyway. As the lesson progressed, she shared stories from her childhood, how her mom would play duets with her on rainy days, turning storms into symphonies. Liam opened up slowly, revealing his frustration with the world that didn't accommodate him. "Everyone treats me like I'm broken," he whispered once. "You're not broken, Liam. You're just composing your own tune." Unbeknownst to Alara, Alexander watched from his study, the camera feed on his monitor. He saw her patience, the way she laughed at Liam's jokes, how she adapted lessons with tactile markers on the keys. At first it was professional oversight. But as days turned to weeks, he found himself lingering on the screen, her voice a soothing balm to his endless meetings and boardroom battles. Alara's life outside the mansion remained a grind. Her apartment's heat failed one night, forcing her to bundle in layers. She confided in her best friend Mia over cheap coffee. The kid's sweet, but his dad? He's like a glacier. Pays well, though. Maybe I can save enough to get back to school. Mia grinned. Who knows? Maybe you'll melt the glacier. Alara laughed it off, but deep down she felt a pull. During lessons, she'd catch glimpses of family photos, Alexander with his wife, both smiling, Liam as a baby. It humanized the cold CEO, reminding her that grief could harden anyone. One evening, after a particularly tough lesson where Liam threw a tantrum over a difficult scale, Alara stayed late. She played a soft lullaby to calm him, her fingers dancing across the keys. Liam fell asleep on the couch, and Alara covered him with a blanket. As she packed up, she didn't notice the hidden camera in the corner, nor Alexander entering quietly from a side door. "You're good with him," he said, startling her. Alara jumped. "Mr. Voss, I didn't hear you." He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Liam doesn't warm up easily. What's your secret? Honesty, I guess, and music. It speaks when words fail." For the first time, Alexander's expression softened. "My wife used to say that. She played for him every night." "I'm sorry for your loss," Alara said sincerely. He nodded curtly and left. But that night, in his empty bed, Alexander replayed the camera footage, not of Liam, but of Alara's compassionate eyes. As weeks blended into months, the lessons became a routine Alara cherished. Liam progressed remarkably, his fingers finding confidence on the keys. He composed a simple melody for her birthday, a gift that brought tears to her eyes. "It's called Miss Alara's Song," he beamed. But challenges arose. Alara's landlord raised the rent, forcing her to take extra shifts at a diner. Exhausted, she arrived late one day, disheveled from a spilled coffee incident. Liam sensed her fatigue. "You sound tired. Is everything okay?" "Just life, kiddo. But we're good." Alexander, watching, felt a pang. He anonymously sent her a bonus check, labeled as performance incentive. Alara was baffled but grateful, using it to fix her bike and buy new sheet music. Then came the storm, literally. A hurricane warning hit the city, and Alara's apartment flooded. With nowhere to go, she showed up for the lesson soaked and shivering. Liam insisted she stay. "Dad won't mind." Alexander, caught off guard, offered her a guest room for the night. "It's practical," he said gruffly. "Can't have Liam's tutor catching pneumonia." That evening, as the wind howled outside, Alara found herself in the kitchen with Alexander. He poured her tea, and for once, the silence wasn't awkward. "Tell me about your family," he asked. Alara shared her story, the losses, the struggles. "Music kept me going. It's like a friend that never leaves." Alexander opened up too, haltingly. "After Elena died, I buried myself in work. Liam suffered for it. I thought protecting him meant isolating us. Their conversation stretched into the night, vulnerability cracking his icy facade. Alara saw the man beneath, wounded, lonely, but capable of warmth. The next morning, as the sun broke through, Liam played a duet with Alara, their harmony filling the house. Alexander watched openly now, no longer hiding behind screens. But secrets have a way of surfacing. One day, Alara accidentally discovered the camera system while helping Hargrove fix a light. Horror struck her. Had he been spying? Confronting Alexander, tears in her eyes, was this all a game, watching the poor girl like some experiment? He confessed at first, yes. But then, I saw you, truly saw you, your kindness, your strength. It reminded me how to feel again. The betrayal stung, but Alara's heart, softened by months of connection, forgave. Trust has to be earned, Mr. Voss. Start now. Their relationship evolved. Alexander courted her properly. Dinners, walks in the garden, sharing dreams. Liam thrived, his confidence blooming. Challenges persisted. Tabloids sniffed out the story, labeling Alara a gold digger. She faced public